November 24, 1971, Portland International Airport, Oregon. The afternoon sky is heavy with thick gray rain clouds. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and the terminal is buzzing with families traveling for the holiday. Among the crowd, a calm, unremarkable man walks up to the Northwest Orient Airlines counter. He looks to be in his mid-40s, roughly 6 feet tall. He is wearing a dark business suit, a crisp white shirt, a black clip-on tie, and a neat black raincoat. In his hand, he carries a heavy attaché case. He introduces himself with a common name, Dan Cooper. He pays $20 in cash for a one-way ticket on Flight 305, a short 30-minute hop north to Seattle, Washington. Cooper boards the Boeing 727 and takes his seat at the very back of the aircraft, row 18C. He lights a cigarette, orders a bourbon and soda, and looks out the scratched window into the rainy twilight. To the other 36 passengers on board, he looks like just another businessman heading home for the holidays. No one looks twice at him. No one suspects that in less than an hour, this silent stranger will execute the most audacious air piracy in modern history. At 4:35 p.m., the plane lifts off into the turbulent sky. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper catches the eye of Florence Schaffner, a 23-year-old flight attendant sitting in a jump seat near him. He leans over and hands her a small folded note. Schaffner, used to lonely businessmen handing her their phone numbers, simply slips the note into her pocket without reading it. Cooper notices this. He leans closer, his eyes cold behind his dark sunglasses, and whispers in a calm, polite voice, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The flight attendant's heart drops. She pulls the note out and opens it. Written in neat, all-capital block letters, the message reads, "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I will use it if necessary. I want you to sit next to me. You are being hijacked." Schaffner forces a professional smile, sits down in the empty seat beside him, and quietly asks to see the bomb. Cooper slowly opens his black attaché case. Inside, Schaffner sees 8 red cylinders, tied together with red insulated wires and a large, heavy cylindrical battery. It looks terrifyingly real. Cooper closes the case and calmly dictates his terms. He doesn't panic, he doesn't raise his voice. He demands $200,000 in negotiable American currency, specifically in $20 bills. He demands 4 parachutes, 2 primary and 2 reserve, and he demands a fuel truck standing by in Seattle to immediately refuel the aircraft upon arrival. If his demands are met, the passengers live. If anyone tries to play the hero, the plane blows up in midair. The flight attendant stands up, her legs shaking, and walks toward the cockpit to deliver the ultimate nightmare to the pilots. Seattle-Tacoma Airport was covered in heavy rain and thick fog as Flight 305 finally touched down at 5:45 p.m. The atmosphere inside the cabin was thick with silent terror. For hours, Northwest Orient officials had been scrambling to gather exactly $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills, just as the mysterious man in seat 18E had demanded. Cooper sat calmly, sipping his drink, completely unfazed by the police sniper teams positioning themselves around the runway. Once the aircraft taxied to a well-lit section of the tarmac, the exchange began. Cooper ordered all window shades to be pulled down to prevent snipers from getting a clear shot. A brave airline employee approached the plane and handed over the heavy canvas bag filled with cash and 4 military-grade parachutes. Cooper kept his word. He allowed all 36 civilian passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave the aircraft. They rushed down the steps into the freezing rain, realizing only then how close they had been to sudden death. But the nightmare wasn't over for the remaining crew. Cooper ordered the pilot to refuel the Boeing 727 immediately and demanded a new flight plan. Destination: Reno, Nevada. He gave very specific, highly technical instructions. The plane must fly below 10,000 feet. The landing gear must remain down, and the wing flaps had to be extended to 15 degrees. Cooper was forcing the massive jet to fly as slow as possible. At 7:40 p.m., the aircraft roared back into the pitch-black, stormy sky, shadowed silently by two F-106 fighter jets. Somewhere over the rugged, heavily forested mountains of southwest Washington state, the cockpit instrument suddenly flashed. A warning light indicated that the aft stairs, the exit door at the very tail of the plane, had been unlatched. The freezing wind rushed inside at 200 miles per hour. Strapping the heavy cash bag to his waist and wearing 2 parachutes, D.B. Cooper walked out into the freezing, blinding storm. He stepped off the stairs and plummeted straight into the dark abyss. He vanished into thin air, leaving behind a cold corporate tie, 2 parachutes, and a mystery that the FBI would fail to solve for decades. Seattle-Tacoma Airport was covered in heavy rain and thick fog as Flight 305 finally touched down at 5:45 p.m. The atmosphere inside the cabin was thick with silent terror. For hours, FBI agents and Northwest Orient officials had been scrambling across the city to gather exactly $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills, just as the mysterious man in seat 18E had demanded. Every bill had to be microfilmed by the authorities, causing a tense delay that pushed Cooper's patience to the limit. Cooper sat calmly in the back, sipping his drink, completely unfazed by the police sniper teams positioning themselves in the dark around the wet runway. He ordered all window shades to be pulled down to prevent law enforcement from getting a clear shot inside. Once the aircraft taxied to a well-lit section of the tarmac, the dangerous exchange finally began. A brave airline employee approached the plane alone, carrying a heavy canvas bag filled with cash and 4 military-grade parachutes. Cooper kept his word. As soon as the demands were met, he allowed all 36 civilian passengers and 2 flight attendants to leave the aircraft. They rushed down the steps into the freezing rain, realizing only then how close they had been to sudden death. They were free. But the flight crew was left behind, entering the next terrifying phase of Cooper's plan. With the passengers gone, D.B. Cooper ordered the pilot to refuel the Boeing 727 immediately and demanded a new flight plan. Destination: Reno, Nevada. He then gave very specific, highly technical instructions that shocked the flight crew. The plane had to fly below 10,000 feet. The landing gear must remain down, and the wing flaps had to be extended to exactly 15 degrees. Cooper was deliberately forcing the massive commercial jet to fly as slow and as low as possible. At 7:40 p.m., the aircraft roared back into the pitch-black, stormy sky, shadowed silently from above by two military F-106 fighter jets. Cooper ordered the remaining crew into the cockpit and told them to stay there. He was now completely alone in the passenger cabin. Somewhere over the rugged, heavily forested mountains of southwest Washington state, a sudden pressure drop occurred. In the cockpit, a red warning light flashed. The aft stairs, the exit door at the very tail of the plane, had been unlatched. The freezing wind rushed inside the cabin at 200 miles per hour. Strapping the heavy cash bag to his waist and wearing two parachutes, D.B. Cooper walked out onto the stairs. He looked down into the blinding rain and darkness, stepped off and plummeted straight into the abyss. He vanished into thin air, leaving behind a cold corporate tie and a mystery that would baffle the world forever. The moment D.B. Cooper jumped into the freezing storm, the FBI launched Operation Norjack, which stands for Northwest Hijacking. It quickly became one of the most extensive and expensive investigations in American history. For months, military troops, FBI agents, and local volunteers combed through the rugged, dense forests of southwest Washington state. They used helicopters, tracking dogs, and even a submarine to search the depths of nearby lakes. They found absolutely nothing. No body, no parachute, no clothes, and not a single one of the $10,020 bills. Cooper had vanished without a trace, leaving the FBI completely embarrassed. Agents looked through thousands of files, interviewing anyone who fit the physical description provided by the flight attendants. The serial numbers of the ransom money were distributed to banks, casinos, and businesses worldwide, with a massive reward offered for any match. For 9 long years, the trail remained completely cold. The world began to believe that D.B. Cooper had died during the jump, his body eaten by wild animals or buried deep under the mud. But in February 1980, the mystery exploded back to life. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family on Tina Bar, a sandy beach on the Columbia River, just downshore from Vancouver, Washington. As he was digging in the sand to start a campfire, his fingers brushed against something strange. Buried just a few inches below the surface were 3 rotting rubber-banded packets of cash. It was $20 bills, totaling $5,800. The FBI quickly confirmed the terrifying truth. The serial numbers matched D.B. Cooper's ransom money perfectly. This discovery changed everything. But instead of solving the case, it only raised deeper, more chilling questions.
The discovery of the money on the riverbank proved one thing. D.B. Cooper, or at least his cash, made it to the ground. But who was this ghost? Over the years, the FBI investigated over 1,000 serious suspects. A few names stood out terrifyingly close to the profile. The first was Richard McCoy. Just 5 months after Cooper's heist, McCoy hijacked a passenger plane in a nearly identical fashion, demanding $500,000 and jumping out over Utah with a parachute. McCoy was a veteran military pilot and an expert skydiver. However, the FBI officially ruled him out because his physical appearance didn't match the descriptions from the flight attendants perfectly, though many still believe he was the man. Another chilling suspect was Sheridan Peterson, a former Marine paratrooper who worked at the exact company that supplied the technical manuals found on the Boeing 727. Peterson possessed the exact specialized knowledge required to survive the jump, and he loved risky stunts. Even his own ex-wife told the FBI she believed he was D.B. Cooper. Yet, no definitive physical evidence could ever link him to the crime. Then there was the deathbed confession of Dwayne Weber. In 1995, as he lay dying in a hospital bed, he looked at his wife and whispered a chilling final sentence: "I am Dan Cooper." His wife had no idea what he meant until she researched the case later, finding his old clip-on ties and hidden notes. In 2016, after 45 years of dead ends, the FBI officially closed the active investigation of the D.B. Cooper case. They stated that their resources were needed for higher priority cases. D.B. Cooper became the only skyjacker in history to completely defeat the United States government. Did he die in the freezing forest that night, his bones scattered in the wilderness? Or did he live a long, luxurious life, spending his wealth in total secrecy? The sky keeps its secrets, and D.B. Cooper remains the ultimate ghost of the American skies.